affordable, high-quality health care. Heather Summers passed a landmark plan to combat the opioid epidemic, helped ensure first responders with PTSD get the care they need, and passed solutions to expand access to care for women. Heather Summers is fighting for our families, for lower taxes, and to deliver results for us.
I'm Heather Summers, candidate for state senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Heather Summers for state senate. Constantine Adipas, treasurer.
Life is full of choices. At Jewett City Savings Bank, we can make one choice easy, finding the right checking account. We offer a range of affordable accounts to fit your budget and needs, and each gives you the freedom to access your money the way you want, online, through our mobile app, or with your debit card. It's your money and your choice. To learn more about the account that's right for you, stop by one of our offices or visit us at jcsbank.com. Jewett City Savings Bank, member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear because I'm grilling up dinner. You get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Your community radio, live from Main Street.
Mike Minarski and Paul Lash in the morning and 80s all day and night.
SNSN.
Like they always say things that aren't stupid usually. And when they are stupid, it's funny.
Am I interrupting your personal game time on your phone or something?
No, I was just looking up Day of the Dead. So
Oh, that's today.
it's today.
Why would you look up Day of the Dead?
It's a pretty famous holiday in
Mexico. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to celebrate. What's up today? Well, death.
Well, it's how they honor their.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not disgraceful. It's
No, I know.
So very, very popular holiday in Mexico.
There was a Disney movie that was out last few years that was really all about Day of the Dead, and that's what it was surrounded. It was called, what's it, Coco?
I don't. Maybe. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I told you before, we have quite the collection of the Day of the Dead dolls.
Who, you and Ginny?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. She got interested in them in a long, long time ago because we used to go to this Southwest shop and they used to sell them. So then we got into making a collection. I have one Day of the Dead doll that stands 4 feet high. It's paper mache.
Oh. Yeah. So is it alive?
Yeah. No. No. No.
Right.
No. But so
They're not all winners, Paul.
no. We don't see so much about here, but if you get down towards the states that are close to Mexico, like Texas and places like that, you'll see a lot of the Day of Dead sculptures and statues of things like that where they sell them.
Well, I want to ask Christina in the room right now. She says good morning. So good morning. Now she's from Chile.
Oh, I'm not sure if that's a Chile.
I'm gonna ask her.
That's a good question.
Is Day of the Dead a thing in Chile?
That's a good question. Yeah.
So you don't know if it's
strictly Mexico. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I figured since she was there, I would ask her.
Yeah,
so I don't really
sure.
know.
I'd be interested to know.
But they also call it All Souls Day.
That would be the religious version.
Mm-hmm. Well, yesterday was All Saints Day.
Yeah,
I celebrated. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
I was canonized.
Canonized
in my mind.
Yeah. So, yeah. I used to work with them when I came from Chile.
What?
I had a person that I worked with that came from Chile.
One of my best friends.
But we never talked about, Day of the Dead stuff, so I don't know.
One of my best friends, he was he worked in an observatory in Chile for 7 years. So he lived down there. All I know is that if you flew down there, because my friend Jay went down there to see him when he was down there at this time, they flew in, I'm not even sure where, but then they had an 8-hour car ride to get there.
Wow.
Over like some really wild terrain. She couldn't even sleep. Yeah, that's
well, it's going to be chilly around here eventually. It's coming.
So Christina says, I don't believe so.
There you go.
She goes, they made it a Saints Day, which was yesterday, or an evangelical day.
Yeah, it's more. See, that's more of a religious thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see if I put a little. I'm going to try to put a little more oomph in your voice here. Hold on a minute.
Well, it must be because it's morning.
Yeah. Okay.
By the time the evening comes, I have a high pitch.
Shayna says, good morning. You have to believe in purgatory in order to believe in the Catholicism of All Souls Day.
Yeah. You don't hear people talk too much about purgatory anymore. I don't know.
Are we in
it's
purgatory?
Always, yeah. Well, you don't know. That's what they say, but
who knows? Because isn't that the spot between heaven and hell?
That's the spot between heaven and hell.
Well,
yeah.
Well,
all depends what end of the room you're on.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, this is where we are. You can call it what do you want.
A lot of people think living on Earth.
It's not great. It's not bad. It's just kind of like, eh.
A lot of people think living on Earth is like living in hell.
What's that?
I mean, a lot of people think like living on Earth is like living in hell. With all the shit you got to put up with.
Apparently, they've never been in hell. She goes, but you pray for the souls of the departed in purgatory.
Yeah.
She goes, I still believe in purgatory. I don't believe I would have to suffer on the prison planet and then go wait again.
Prison planets, huh?
Well, it's true. I mean, what is this place?
Yeah, you kind of wonder where was Clarence? Was Clarence right in the middle?
Clarence?
Clarence? You don't know who Clarence is?
You're talking about the only Clarence I know is the angel in It's a Wonderful Life.
Correct. So where was he?
He was in heaven.
Was he in heaven or was he in purgatory? Was he in heaven? No, he didn't quite make it.
He just didn't get his wings yet.
Well,
it's Clarence.
Maybe that's purgatory.
They never referenced this purgatory.
That's a movie.
They didn't even reference it as heaven. It was just in the stars. That's all they were.
Yeah. So maybe that was purgatory.
Do we believe in purgatory? Is it a thing? Is it a religious belief thing?
It is a religious belief.
Okay.
Yeah. They just teach you that when you went to Catholic school or something like that. Part of religion was always purgatory. Yeah.
Right.
But you don't hear too much of it being said today when you hear talk about heaven.
It's cancel culture, man.
Heaven, it's either heaven or
canceled.
Hell. Heaven or hell, whatever it is. So.
I don't know. Let's see if we can find a definition
of purgatory.
Yeah. Of
in limbo.
Yeah. A place or state of suffering inhabited by the souls of sinners who are expiating, or well, it's whatever, before they go to heaven.
Yeah. So if
it's a place of purifying.
Yeah. So if you're kind of like on the other side of the fence, this is a place to straighten out your ass before you move on. Otherwise, you're going to stay there forever.
It's like, Johnny, you want to go uptown or downtown?
Yeah. Oh, well.
It's true.
Yeah.
Facebook user says, I'm having flashbacks to my Catholic school days.
Yeah, that's pretty much where it comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to move over. No, you're going to have to move you a little bit. It's because you're not in the camera. Sorry. So now I have to find out who this person is.
Morning.
Jim walking right into the bullet hole here. You don't know what we're talking about.
It came right out of purgatory.
I'll tell you that we have decided that we are never talking COVID again. We're done with COVID. Any of that crap, we're done with it. We don't want to be mad. We want to be happy. We don't want to be. Look at these glaring at me. And that came from him. That came from him. He goes, I don't want to talk COVID. Period. How about it?
We're going to talk graphene oxide one of these days.
Do you guys want to talk graphene oxide? Give me a show of hands.
People don't even know who the hell
Don't
it is.
even know what it is.
Is that battery acid?
It could be. It could be.
It may be just as toxic. I don't know.
I have to look now because every time somebody comes up, it says Facebook user. I got to find out who that person is. It's actually Kathy.
Kathy's a Facebook user?
Yeah.
Well, she does use
Kathy W.
Yes.
She does use Facebook.
Good morning, Kathy W.
I think she's in the SNSN news group and didn't. Oh, there it is. Yep, there she is. It was me. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's see. Victoria says good morning.
No.
So we're talking about, I don't know if we're talking about it. We just kind of floated into it. Today is Day of the Dead.
Or Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead.
Never heard of it, but that's okay.
You ever heard of it? Day of the Dead?
No.
Really? Wow. Yeah, this is a big one.
Wow.
Yeah, it must be.
It's more of a Catholic thing, I think. And I'm not really Catholic.
Sure
I grew up Catholic, but I'm not really Catholic.
I'm not sure if it's a Catholic thing. It's just something that happens in Mexico.
It's recognized in Mexico more so than anywhere else.
In Mexico, it's honoring the dead, where they go in and.
It's not a Latin holiday or anything like that.
It's nothing wacky. It's just that what they do is a lot of them, they go into the tombs and they'll sit down and eat with them, because a lot of the bones were not put in caskets, so they dust them off and they do all that kind of stuff in Mexico. It'd be old Mexico, of course. So,
if you'd like a quick tutorial on Day of the Dead, watch the Disney film Coco.
Yeah, a lot of.
I'll put that on my wish list.
Well, if you've ever seen the figurines of people where their faces are skeletons, those are Day of the Dead sculptures. Yeah.
Cindy said, "Oh, go ahead."
You seem to know quite a bit about it.
I do, because I was telling him that my wife got interested in collecting them, because we used to go to a Southwest store many, many years ago when they started to, sell them. So we have quite the collection of the Southwest dolls and figurines. Yeah.
Cindy said, when I was in Catholic school, they explained it as a place to explain yourself and work off your sins. Purgatory, that is. If they weren't mortal sins, that would have immediately sent you straight to hell.
Is that Sister Victoria?
No, it's Christina. I mean, that was Cindy.
Oh, Sister Cindy.
Sister Cindy. That's right.
Okay.
Gotcha. So now I don't even know what the mortal sins are.
I was just going to ask you that, but
let's see. Let's see if there's a list. All right. List of every sins every Catholic should know.
Oh, God. How do we get on this subject?
Yeah, why specifically the Catholics? They're not the only ones that sin.
I know.
Being a legislature, being a politician.
Why can't they just give me a list instead of giving me a... All right. Oh, my God. This is ridiculous. They give you a complete article. It's like everything on the internet now is clickbait.
Yeah.
Everything is clickbait. You can't just find what you want.
And now half the time when you pull anything up, it's got their policy on. On what do you call it? Yeah, can't pull it back.
I think murder is one of them. I think that's
I would think something.
But see, now that is a. I don't know.
So I would think anything to do against the commandments would be considered
suicide, induced abortion.
Well, that's the Catholics.
I know. Rape and divorce.
Yeah, it's what?
Those are mortal sins.
Well,
Apparently.
see, that's where the Catholic Church is screwed up, because especially in today's environment where divorce is very common, and by right, according to the Catholic Church, if you get divorced, you're really not part of the Catholic
Yeah,
Church
you're
anymore.
excommunicated.
You're excommunicated from the church, which is ridiculous because how many 7 out of 10, 5 out of 10? What's the number of people that get divorced? I mean, so.
Well, you made a comment, I think, Paul, I can't paraphrase it exactly, that the Catholic Church is, I'll use the word behind the times. I think that's basically what you were saying.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Different religions look at it differently.
Yeah.
So there was and again, this is a movie, but I actually talked to a couple of ministers about this. There was a movie called The Shack, which was about 10 years ago. And what it was about a family goes, father takes his 2 daughters and they go camping.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the daughters gets abducted and subsequently gets killed.
Yeah.
So the father, of course, can't get past it. And how could you? And he went back and, apparently he had found something at a shack, but he went back and this is where he met all of these religious entities and stuff like that. But anyway, the moral of this story was that he had problems with his own father back in the day. His father was dead and they never had a chance to heal and stuff like that. And I guess he did some pretty horrible things.
The father or
the father. And then he met face to face with the killer of his daughter. And he had to, the thing was he had to forgive that person, for the most heinous of crimes. How do you do that? So the way it was described in the movie, now this is just in the movie, it's a movie, where God went to him and said, well, this is my child too. Why would I, how do I pick between kids? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The murderer was a child of his, and so there's many ways to look at it. I mean, every theology is probably the most in-depth thing you could study anywhere.
Yeah,
because it's all, I think, most of it's interpretation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look at all the other. We're only familiar, really, most of us, with a few different theologies here in this country, but look at all the different ones in Asia and other places in the world.
Yeah. So like when my ex-wife and I, when we got divorced, Nancy,
so you're excommunicated?
No.
Okay.
Matter of fact, we went to a priest at the Catholic Church up in Brooklyn at La Salette Church, because Nancy, wanted to get counseling and stuff like that. And basically, this is what he said. And he was a licensed therapist
Nancy's
as well.
Your first wife?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Looked at her and looked at me and said, "How old are your shoes?" And I looked down and I said, "I don't know. Are they worn out?" "Yeah." I go, "These are." He goes, "Yeah, I could see like one of the soles flapping in back, like it's like almost detached. Looks like it's, they're worn out pretty good." And I said, "I guess so." And he said, he goes, I'm not kidding you. This is from a Catholic priest. Mm-hmm. He said, sometimes things in life get worn out. And then all he said is, he looked at both of us and he goes, sometimes you just need a new pair of shoes.
Wow. Interesting comment.
Yeah.
But here, I'm going to make an additional comment.
Okay.
Why do things get worn out? Many times because we don't maintain them.
Yeah.
And that's true about relationships.
Yeah, that's true.
So I didn't know if I should have gone to a therapist or a cobbler.
Maybe both.
Wow.
Interesting story, though.
Yeah, and that's exactly, and that's oh my goodness, 30 years ago, and I still remember.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I still remember that to this day. So
Wow.
it's weird how the things we do remember and the things we choose not to remember.
Yeah. I mean, there's numerous things like with my brothers that stand out in my mind and they don't remember. And
Yeah.
I'm sure there's things that stand out in their mind that
Sure.
I don't remember,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just how it impacted you at the particular time.
Yeah. I don't know. I could ask Nancy, who yesterday was her birthday, All Saints Day.
And I still remember her birthday.
Of course you do. I don't hate the woman. I mean,
Sometimes you just have to move. You just have to move on. I mean, if you're in a really bad relationship,
it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad relationship. It wasn't when we were married. It's not like we wanted to hurt each other or we weren't yelling and screaming at each other or fighting. It just
how old were you when you got married?
Young.
That's part of the problem.
That's exactly. Oh, sure, I know that now.
Okay, I mean, many sides of that equation. One partner outgrows the other.
I don't know if we outgrew each other so much as we just went in different directions, which is the sad part. I mean, we have a daughter together, but I think we just kind of we moved into different directions, and I think she would tell you the same thing. Her theological differences are much different than mine back then. I don't know what they are now.
Sure, you're much stronger religious than you were.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, her parents, who were wonderful people, her mom, bless her soul, has moved on, but her dad is still here, but very religious, very much so, in the Catholic faith. So, so that's where Nancy, got hurt. So,
was that a problem? Was that part of the problem in your marriage? Do you think?
No, not at all. Actually, it was just it was to your comment. Were you young? Yeah, that was it. I mean, I was 21; she was 20. So.
I mean, I have a very, very good friend that basically is what happened to him and his wife.
Sure.
I mean, he'd never say anything bad about it. They got 2 kids together and grandchildren and everything else, but she was perfectly content to stay home and just take care of the kids, which I applaud. Okay. And he was much more out in the world, doing things.
Yeah.
Well, years ago, that was the thing. There was really only one person working at one time. Most of the women stayed home. It isn't like today where, women go out into the job market. But back then, years ago, most women stayed home with the kids.
Well, I keep saying that
that's a sign of the times.
Yeah, right. I mean, so I'm saying many, many years ago, that's the way it was.
See, I think we should go back to one person working in the family, and I don't care whether it's the man or the woman. The fellow I just mentioned, his son is a housewife.
Yeah.
His wife makes 3 times what he can
Mr.
make.
Mom.
And then I don't think we would begin to have all of the problems that we have with some of our children if there was full-time supervision, more or less. Okay, I'm going to get shot down here by probably many people, but that's okay.
Well,
I've been shot down before.
It's just not feasible these days.
Yeah, but
I mean, just want to say, Jim, financially speaking, you're much more fortunate than a lot of other people.
Yeah.
So, to be able to have those kind of views, you made different choices than say I did.
Yeah.
So you're much more well off that way. So it's very easy to say one person stays home. It is not even a thought.
No, it's not feasible and not practical today because we've let things get totally out of control, Mike. A small 3-bedroom house for me and my 4 kids, that's fine. Okay.
Right,
Some people, they got to have a McMansion for them and their wife. All right?
Yeah.
New cars is another example. Okay.
Yeah.
That's about the biggest wasting asset you can pour your money into.
I don't. Yeah, I know. We've talked about that. You and I, yeah.
I mean, I drive around in a 2003 shit box.
Does it smell?
My car.
that was the car. That was the car I took the cow home in.
I got a car that I got from Dish, you know, and I've had it for 4 years, and I bought it used. The thing's got 270,000 miles on it, and I love it.
Yeah,
it's great. You know, I don't need to go buy a new fancy dance car and like that. I'm comfortable in this thing. It's big, it's roomy. You know, I fit in it. It's comfy. So it runs good. So knock on wood. So
yeah,
and it's 16 years old.
Yeah,
18 years old.
Yeah.
Well, I can get an antique plate for mine for next year. I think it is.
Yeah, in 2 years I can do it with mine too. Well, I can get classic.
Yeah, a classic car.
I don't think they have antique plates anymore. Most I think are
Did
classic.
they?
Because
it's 20 years, right?
Yeah, 20 years.
Okay.
But my understanding is you can only use those plates if you're going to some kind of a show or something.
No.
That's
It's
incorrect.
they're supposed to be limited number of miles. You know, it's not a car that you really drive.
It's not going to be a day-to-day vehicle,
Unless
right?
you're-
Because even you can get insurance that is less
yeah,
expensive.
you can get insurance. I pay like $15 for the registration, $15 for taxes because it's a classic vehicle, and then I pay like $250 a year.
Yeah.
For this insurance on it. That's it.
Hmm.
You know, so and the registration is like a normal registration. Yeah.
All right. Victoria says my mom had to go getting back to the whole Catholic commentary.
Yeah.
My mom had to go see a priest when she got divorced. They were going to kick me out of school because of the divorce.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
That's
Punish the child.
Sorry, yeah.
Punish the child for the sins of the parents.
Yeah. But I was just going to go back to Jim's comment about in today's world,
I'll get to your comments in a minute, guys. They're
a lot
their
of
thing,
women
so.
are working from home. A lot of men are working from home. So now you have the people that you have the families at home now because of what COVID did with bringing people back to the house to work.
COVID.
I know that, but what I'm just saying is that people are working from home more now. So you're with your kids, younger kids, more than you would be if you were.
Or are you really, since you're saying, you know, go play on
but
mom or dad's working,
yeah,
you
but
know,
the problem that
I'm here, but I'm not really here.
Yeah, but they work, they get up and go do something with the kids. They come back. I mean, you work 8 hours, whether it's 7 to 3 or
Whatever it
9
is.
to 10, whatever. But I think that's changed now that you have a lot of families working from home, so they're home with their kids.
Daryl says about the conversation that we had with our priest years ago. He says, priest was really just talking about your shoes.
Yeah.
And I thought about that, you know, over and over again through the years.
Yeah.
And the best way I could kind of put it is, as a priest, you probably couldn't say, you know, sometimes you just need a new spouse.
Yeah.
Because that would, you know, could be used against him. And all he said is just shoes.
Yeah. Unless
I think it was symbolism, you know. So
unless you have some that are really trained in that area. I mean, they don't even know what it's like to be married, for Christ's sakes. They don't know, other than what they hear or what they read. They've never experienced, you know, a marriage life with another woman or either with a guy. But just saying, they don't have any clue what it is. That's the problem with the Catholic Church. Yeah.
Victoria agrees with you, Jim. Says, I stayed home with my kids. I worked from home to provide for them.
There you go.
Everything revolved around them.
Good mom.
Laura says people are living beyond their means and taking responsibility for their financial situation.
So that's what I was referring to by the McMansions and new cars and all the rest of it.
Well,
Pull your horns in and pay more attention to your kids.
the problem too is the government handing all that money out wasn't the greatest thing either, because a lot of people overspent their means because they expected to get this money every month.
But that's only the last 2 years, Paul.
Yeah, but
I mean,
still,
But here's something that goes many, many years. It's like, hey, gotta go. Let's go get that new living room set.
I
What?
can hear you.
Say, hey, why don't we go get that new living room set? Well, what do you mean the new living room set? You know, the one for $2,000 that you wanted? Well, Christmas is coming up. Yeah, but guess what else is coming up after that? Income tax.
Yeah, I would think of that.
My parents, especially my mother, that was like shopping season right there.
Well,
Instead of taking that money and doing something else with it or whatever.
Like paying off your debts.
Yeah, I mean, this is all I knew. You know, it's like you take your income tax and it's like it's a cornucopia of fun. You know, you just go and do whatever.
That's still done today.
I understand that.
I mean, you're absolutely right. It's your money. You know, you probably should.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm
It's
just
not
saying
bad, but a lot of people do that.
Right.
Well, that can bring you to another conversation, which is another favorite topic of mine. And that is if the government wasn't stealing so much money from the people doing things that they're not allowed to do by the Constitution, people could be financially better off also.
Yeah, well, we all know that.
We all know that.
We're worse off now than we've ever been. So, I mean, the debt
Mm-hmm.
is unbelievable. So,
Christina says, I have a lot of respect for stay-at-home parents, especially if they have a big family and do homeschooling.
yeah.
Who said that?
Christina in Florida.
Oh, okay. I agree with you, Christina.
And Daryl just says, Daryl Nader, from the Healthy Computer. Where, Paul?
Downtown Jewett City on
School
School
Street.
Street.
There we go. He says, you just can't afford to have kids anymore.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
I mean, in the days of the big families is very rare. You're lucky if you have one or two kids, if that.
Yeah.
I mean, can't afford them. Not that you don't want them, but
right.
But again, the big people with big families though end up with these big tax breaks too.
Shayna says this is why they should move the Christmas holiday to income tax time. Children would be so much happier, and the parents too.
Well, yeah. Well,
that right there is just. I mean, aren't most people trying to get away from the commercialization of Christmas?
I think so.
Is that still a sacred holiday to most people, or has it become a Walmart holiday or an Amazon holiday?
they're already doing Black Friday sales already, for crying out loud, on October.
Yeah, we saw an advertisement for Christmas yesterday, the day before. We haven't even got to Thanksgiving yet. Usually they wait until Thanksgiving.
Get through Halloween.
I mean, next they'll be advertising Christmas on the 4th of July.
Melissa and I went, I think some places already have stuff out in August.
Yeah.
For Christmas. We went grocery shopping last night, and we went by a place, and right in the window, big old sign, watch for our Black Friday specials.
That doesn't necessarily mean Christmas. Though.
No, but they're implying it, and they're planting the seed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Actually, Black Friday is like the opening shopping day for Christmas.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that's still being called Black Friday with the woke community.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting comment.
But it's, you know what? It's just a dark color.
I realize that.
It's not any reference to a human being.
Nobody's pitching.
Yeah.
What if it was White Friday? What would happen?
Well, still wouldn't make sense.
I'm just saying that people would be complaining more about it being called a White Friday than a Black Friday, but nobody's making any comments about Black Friday. So, well, that's something for a different.
That's a different, yeah. Laura says my sister-in-law has 12 kids. Wow. My God. She says, God bless her. She stays home with the kids and her husband supports them. She has her own business. She runs from home as a second income.
We'd have to with that.
Well, I looking back on our genealogy, I look back and I mean, a small family was 6 to 8. And I mean, I'm looking at some of these lists, the lists are this long, 10, 15, 18 kids.
Yeah.
But you needed them. How are you going to keep the farm going if you didn't have all that free labor?
Exactly, because now today people don't have farms. I mean, how many families do you know have farms today? Not very many.
Yeah.
And that was the reason for all the kids. They all worked on the farm. Now everybody's doing their own thing.
The worst thing a parent can do during the holidays is to set the expectation that each year will be better than the last. That's from Daryl. And that brings up a memory. Thanks, Daryl. One year, and now my mother would go pretty much balls to the wall, when it came to Christmas. She loved Christmas. It was her thing. Well, I can remember it being a little slim pickings one year for Christmas. Now, being 10, 11 years old, like you notice, well, why aren't there as many Christmas gifts underneath the tree? You know what I was told? This is not even, and again, this is one of those things that you remember. Was it meant to be this thing? I'm going to tell you vicious or no. But think about it as a young child. Mom, why are there not as many Christmas presents this year? Well, you weren't as good this year, Michael, as you were last year. Oh.
Yeah. Well, is that what she said to you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was a wake-up call for you, wasn't it? I don't know. I don't know whether you took the wake-up call or not.
I had a good Christmas not the following year, but what the real problem is that money was very tight.
Yeah.
And that was explained to because I told my mother that years. I said, "You told me I was a bad kid." Basically, so that's how I,
Well,
and,
I think there'll be a lot of kids being told that this year.
She didn't mean it that way. It was just I got that trait from her. Yeah. I'll say things, that comes out wrong, but it's not what I mean.
But I think you're going to find that this year is going to be rough. A lot of stuff not good, and everything's not cheap. And everybody today wants all this electronic stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I go back to looking at my own family. There was 4 boys, and my father was the only worker in the house. My mother stayed home, took care of the boys. The biggest year he ever had, he might have made over $10,000, including overtime. And
but percentage wise,
I know. And we owned our own home. Never had debt. Never were hungry. Never want. It was the way they managed their money. And I know things have changed today. It's it's not the same thing.
Well, the problem is people today have to live week to week.
That's partly their own choice, Paul.
Well,
okay, they're driving around in cars with huge debt on them, houses and everything.
And those big cars come with big tax bills.
Yeah.
Well, that's not everybody.
No.
I mean, there's a lot of people today that unfortunately don't have those big cars. They have a used car or an old car. And unfortunately, because of the economics going on today, they're living from week to week, and it's not their fault.
Well, Paul, you and I have worked on the food drives in this town many, many different times. Okay?
I know.
You look at the vehicles that are driving up there.
I understand that. There's, you can't really question it, but we don't know. We don't know the intermakings. Just because you're driving up in a fairly new SUV or pickup truck doesn't necessarily mean that they're not having it tough. Don't question it, but you're right.
I'm saying some of them, not all of them. I'm saying some of them. It's their own fault.
Yeah.
Shana says they also think when it comes to the children, I have 3 of them, and they're all awesome kids / adults. Quality time, even if it's not quantity, listening and reading and shutting off the TV.
Yep.
Victoria, I miss Christmas shopping for my kids when they were little.
Yeah.
Santa always brought 3 gifts, just like the wise men. Yeah. Now they just want cash.
Yeah. And you kind of wonder about the younger generation today. How do they? I mean, because as parents, we've always given them what they wanted. I mean, as the generations go on and on, we end up giving them more and more because you didn't have this, so I'm going to give my kids that. And then, of course, when they get older, they give their kids this. So it's a continual thing.
Paul, and it's a 7-year-old boy waking up on Christmas morning like Ralphie did, wanting a Red Ryder BB gun. And you got down and you had your pink bunny suit on and you looked in the window and there it was. It was the major prize. It was the leg lamp.
Yeah, you wanted
sitting
the leg
there,
lamp.
right?
Yeah, that's what you wanted.
And this is Paul's house. And next thing you know, he sits down, with Darren McGavin, who went on to play Night Stalker. And he said, Dad, what do I got? Here you go, son. Here's myrrh. What do you do as a child? I can get real sacrilegious on this, but I'm not going to.
Yeah. But I'm just, how did my story get changed into that stupid thing?
I can flip anything around, Paul.
We digress.
Well, I think.
But seriously, I'm talking about gifts, and kids getting gifts. And you said kids want electronics. Well, what about that kid getting some frankincense?
Absolutely.
Gee, Mom, that's great.
Well,
I always wanted some frankincense. Thank God for the myrrh.
I can understand the guy that always got coal in a stocking. I can understand where you're coming from.
We were threatened with that occasionally.
Yeah.
What's that?
Coal
in our stocking.
Yeah, I bet he had a lot of coal in his stocking.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No.
Come on, no wonder you feel the way.
No, I was just told I was a bad
They
kid.
didn't burn coal. They were burning oil. See, we burn coal.
Terry says one of my boys got coal in his stocking. Scared the crap out of him.
I guess it would have.
So when it comes to money and stuff like that, Tim says smart money management starts in the home. Oh, of course it does.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember my folks, they had an envelope for each different category: groceries, automobile,
Oh, yeah.
gasoline.
Yep.
They had a budget. If you spent more, you took money out of the
No,
envelope.
you're right.
If you
You're
didn't
absolutely
spend
right.
as much that week, you put some money back into it for the
You're
future.
absolutely
Yeah.
right. I had one of those books. You're absolutely right.
And in fact, I
You
did
mean
that.
the one that had the little envelopes in it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I did that for years, and I'm going through some stuff just this past weekend. I came across those envelopes from 50 years ago at
Did you
least.
still have cash in it?
There wasn't anything in a book. I mean, Mike, I raped them before I put them in storage.
Yeah.
Christina says I would rather buy a used car over a new car.
But even in today's world, even the used cars are
Oh my God.
unbelievable.
Yeah, they're crazy prices.
Crazy
now.
prices.
That's because they can't get the chips for the new cars.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
So they don't have used cars out there.
you don't take that massive depreciation the first time you drive a new car off of the lot.
Yeah.
And not only that, a lot of the newer cars, especially if there's been significant changes, there's bugs in them. I'd rather buy one 3 or 4 years old that the bugs are out of.
I don't care if I ever win the lottery or all of a sudden have this big windfall of money in my life. I will never go out and buy a new car. I won't.
I've bought one new car
Because it's the practical part of me.
It's the same with me, Mike. I bought one new car in my life. And that's the one she's driving now, and I figured that was probably going to be the last new car we ever bought.
Right.
And I, being much older than her, I wanted her to have a reliable car that would carry her on.
Gotcha.
And I never buy warranties. I bought a warranty with that car because of the electronics in it. I figured what it cost me for that warranty is it's going to, one major electronics problem is going to take it. That warranty is going to pay for it. She doesn't have to worry about it.
Okay. What about you? How do you feel? Well, I know how you feel about you're buying new cars all the time, you baller.
Yeah.
Well, that's your thing, though. You like cars.
Yeah, but he worked for Eversource, Mike.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Our pay scales are down here.
Hi, I'm Paul Lash.
Look at your electric bill.
Hi, I'm Paul Lash. Thank you for that delivery charge. My Audi and I love you.
Hey, somebody's got to get picked on this one.
That's okay.
And it's not me at the moment.
That's okay. I don't have a problem.
Come on now. The delivery charge is bullshit. You know it, and I know it.
But do you know where that delivery charge came?
Who?
Legislatures.
It's still bullshit.
I'm just saying that it all started because they used to generate their own power. The legislatures came up where they were going to eliminate all of generation from the utility, so that they could have more spread out. Cost would be better. You could go to the other people to buy your power from.
Mm-hmm.
So now we all know generation's up. You're paying for the price of oil. You're paying for whatever the generation costs them. Yeah. And that's what you're paying for. And they go out and get contracts just like you go get a contract for your oil bill.
Yeah, and then there's all that extra overhead that you're paying for.
I mean, I think if the utilities kept their own generation control wouldn't be as high as it is today. But they're depending on something. They got to go out in the market just like everybody else.
So we're gonna. Speaking of, we've been doing this every day. We're gonna go ahead and check the oil price.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Oh boy.
Good morning, Town and Country.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Just checking the price today.
You got it. 125 gallons is still $5.45.9.
All right. So it went up 3 cents, right?
Well, that's down from what I called a couple of weeks ago and talked.
It's the same price as it was yesterday.
I thought it was 542 yesterday.
It was 543 if you're a senior.
Well, I could be if you want me to be.
Well, I mean, that's usually the only difference in price unless you were doing the 100 gallons.
How old do you have to be to qualify for a senior discount or senior rate?
65 usually.
Oh, okay. Well, the reason why I say that, and I'm not trying to be facetious, but you can join the senior center here in Griswold at 55.
Oh.
So that's really why I asked.
I'll let it slide.
Well, I'm still checking. So I you know, I think probably that's where it's gonna bottom out, right? What do you think?
It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
It came, from the day before it came down,
substantial.
More than I thought it would have. So, whether it holds or goes up or comes down a little bit more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Well, I think today's going to be the day, so I'll call you back in a bit.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
No problem.
All right. Bye.
It's funny you should bring that subject up, Mike.
Why?
Because I spent a few hours this weekend working on oil prices for one of the condo associations.
Okay.
And what the increase in the potential increase in condominium fees may be just to cover the cost of oil.
Okay.
Okay. We had a few years ago, in this particular condo complex, we put together a plan to build a oil reserve in case prices went up significantly. And we had about $18,000 in that oil reserve. We've already just about used all that up. And by the end of the year, we'll have used it all up.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm not going to quote the exact numbers because I don't want anybody to fall off their chairs if they're listening, but the numbers are horrendous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't the bigger issue right now diesel?
Yeah, I heard really bad things about diesel, and I don't know why diesel is as much over the price of fuel oil as over gasoline.
It's the same thing.
I know it is. I meant gasoline. I mean gasoline. Well, I think it's about $3.66 or something. I think the last time I looked, diesel's close to $6. Gasoline is more highly refined than diesel. Why? What's?
I don't know. I mean, is there anything down? Do we have any refineries that are down that are causing it? I don't know.
Are we just selling it?
Well, I mean, there's certainly all kinds of rumblings that we sent tremendous amounts of oil to China. Whether that is or isn't true, I don't know.
I know.
I mean,
well, the rumor too is that we've pretty much used all our diesel up from all our reserves. This is the lowest it's been in I don't know how many years.
Well, I heard something that there's not a lot of diesel in the country.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh well.
So there's a couple of articles I'm looking at right now, and they're all saying no, the United States is not going to run out of diesel. Because that's
but I don't believe anything you read on the internet.
Huh?
I don't believe anything you read.
No, but what it does is it pushes prices up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And not talking just oil, but investments.
Well, look at the I mean, how much diesel is used in transportation? Okay, so what do you think is going to happen to the price of everything you buy?
Up. Well, not only that, but also now they're talking about the railroad strike again. That's coming back up again sometime this month.
Well, of course, in my opinion, and I've said this for about 20 years after I analyzed it, is that any freight that's got to move more than probably 500 miles or certainly 1,000 miles should move by rail. I mean, the cost per ton is unbelievably cheaper to move it by rail than it is by truck.
Yeah.
I mean, you get 2 or 3 guys running a 100-car train. You got 1 or 2 guys driving every truck.
Yeah, and the trucks, they can put the trailers on the flatbeds on the trains and move them along that way too. So, but yeah, I mean, but there is talk about another possibility of a railroad strike, which would really hurt us even worse. So if you thought last year was tough on Christmas presents, this year maybe even worse. So who the hell knows?
Well, Court just said, he said they didn't run out of baby formula, did they?
No, they found it, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
Well,
it was, I will say, some were tough to find.
My biggest concern is food.
Yeah.
Well, the Ukrainians are starting to move their where is it, wheat they're with? They're starting to move that again. Yeah.
Is there that much of it after the devastation?
I don't
the country
know,
has
but
had?
they're just apparently they're starting to ship it. So
Daryl says the diesel thing was a fake report by fake news. I mean, Fox News. They ran a story about a week ago and getting in some trouble for it. It wasn't just Fox News. Matter of fact, they're not the ones that broke it. No. They just caveated off of it.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's a different discussion altogether.
I'm not going to get
It's like, what part do you want? Oh, you must listen to Fox News. Oh, you must listen to CNN. Oh,
yeah, we're not going to get into the
No.
network.
I don't know whether Daryl gave some information away there or not.
No.
I don't believe any news media at all, except NSN.
Well, you remember Dan Blather? I mean, Dan
Rather?
Dan Rather?
Dan Bladder?
Oh, no, I referred to him for years as Dan Blather. He was a CIA asset.
Oh.
Yeah.
The CEO of Eversource sent a letter to Joe Biden saying that we are in for some huge issues if they don't fix these fuel issues.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think there's a lot of fuel issues. I don't think there was a chicken shortage. I think with the chicken shortage is they're saying, hey, guess what? There's a chicken shortage. And it spread. And what happened? Well, it went from $1.79, $1.99 a pound up to, I don't know. Last week at Walmart, $3.25 a pound. It's money gouging. It's price gouging.
Well,
it's like, well, you know what? I told 2 friends, and so on, and so on, and so on. And it mushrooms, the price goes up, and profit margins increase.
If you look back in the middle of the season here, there was millions of chickens that died out in the Midwest.
Yeah, the bird flu.
No.
Yeah, that's why they're saying it's going to be a turkey shortage this year because a lot of the turkeys died as a result of bird flu. So the turkey prices are up.
And we just 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, we bought 80 pounds of chicken breast, boneless chicken breasts for $1.79 a pound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a year and a half ago, we were buying it for $1 a pound.
Yeah. Well, everything is up.
Well, I mean, I understand, the increase and stuff like that, but we're talking about huge increases. Going from $1.99, which is average for boneless chicken breast, up to $3.25.
Yeah.
It's a 35% increase in price, and for what?
Well, I think the food inflation they've talked about, and I'm not positive of this because I haven't been following it, is around 30 to 40% this year.
Yeah.
The state and the average inflation is 8%. Okay.
Yeah. Old Betsy the cow is saying eat more chicken. That's why there's a lot of people eating chicken. Betsy's saying eat more chicken.
You look at too many Chick-fil-A commercials. And he spells chicken CHIKEN.
I think chicken is one of the most.
It's got a sign, eat more chicken.
I think a lot of people eat more chicken than they do beef. I think chicken is number one and beef is second. I thought I heard something someplace.
Well, my stepson, Dane, used to say to his mother, what are we having for dinner? And she would go, chicken. And then he would say, Mom, you make the best chicken every night.
I thought chicken was number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would think it'd be chicken, beef, and pork.
Pork
is cheap.
If we could afford to buy pasture-raised chicken, and beef would be a hell of a lot better off health-wise too.
I think pork is cheaper than it is beef.
Grain-fed meat is not the best thing for you.
Yeah.
And that's what 99% of it is.
Grain costs have gone up through the roof.
Yep,
absolutely.
Hay is up too. Hey, so beef is up.
That's got to be Cortland.
No, it was Victoria.
Oh,
it was Victoria.
Yeah.
I believe this is court though. Before I say it, I'm going to go ahead and. I don't know. Maybe not. I'm trying to. Oh, it was court. Okay.
Yeah, what's he
It
say?
says, well, I'm trying to get there. Many of the farms could not move their products because of the avian flu, which we kind of talked about a little bit. That was. Or was it a conspiracy theory? Or did they just get caught on fire? They just get set on fire. Popcorn chicken.
Eat more chicken.
Daryl goes back to the diesel thing and says the earliest I see about the diesel is Bloomberg, not Fox.
Mm-hmm. I guess he doesn't like Fox, I guess. Huh? They're all
No,
the same.
I do not believe, I can't speak for Daryl, from the Healthy Computer, School Street, Jewett City. I can't speak for him, but I'm from his comments, I'm going to say he's not, in my estimation, a Fox News fan.
No, he's
not. And then Shane is talking about cookies. Okay. All the people baking cookies at Christmas time. I'm one of them. It's going to be pricey. I buy butter every time I go to the store. I'm ready to start churning it myself.
She got the pasture to feed the animals.
I don't
The
know.
cream.
We can all sit here and say, well, there's an easier way to do this or a less expensive way to do this. But the bottom line is we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
We sit here and we talk. We talk. But we don't. We don't change our ways.
The problem is a lot of people don't know how to go back to the old ways because they've never done it. I mean,
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying
people won't even know. People probably doesn't even know how butter is even, how you make butter, what's it come from.
You know what mayonnaise is?
Eggs and
oil.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And spices, you know.
Yeah.
But
you can make your own eggs if you. I mean, make your own.
You can make. Yeah, go make your own eggs, Paul.
Yeah.
That'd be weird.
You can make your own mayonnaise if you want.
See, our son he's pretty well versed in the old ways. Both his grandfathers were farmers and stuff. But my grandson, bright kid, but if he had to grow his own food, he'd be in trouble.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. A lot of the generation that are in the 60s, 65, and even older have had the opportunity to work with grandparents who lived on farms and visited farms when they were a kid. How many kids do they really have a cow, for Christ's sakes?
Yeah.
Other than going to the fair maybe and seeing a cow, but really, how many of them have? How many pigs and animals like that have done that? They haven't.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
Father wouldn't let me get pigs though.
Oh,
and cows, sheep.
Yeah.
You know what they say about pigs is that
they're very clean if
and very
give them a
smart.
chance. Yeah, and smart too.
Yeah. That they said if pigs had hands, you could teach them to work.
Yeah, I used to be afraid of the pigs. Afraid they'd bite me. I did because my grandparents had pigs.
I want a little pig.
No,
I want a little baby pig.
These
little one.
These were little biggie ones. These were big pigs,
No, I want a miniature.
I would never get in the pen with them.
He wants one that's going to sleep with him.
No.
Well, my puppies do that. Yeah, they do. Especially Henry right now. He just comes over and he'll come up, eke his way up. Next thing you know, he just plops his head right on my pillow, right next to me.
I mean, I was lucky. I had the opportunity because they all had animals, pigs and sheep, and cows, calves.
Well,
My mother-
my great grandfather had almost 1,400 acres in Stratton, in Jamaica, Vermont.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's dairy area. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just we've had that opportunity to work on farm, do the work on the farm. Do the planting and do the haying and do the chopping the corn up and putting it in the silo. And kids think today you just go to the grocery store and that's where your food comes from.
Well, Cortland could answer this question, but I'm wondering how many farms we have left in Connecticut. I mean, in Griswold that have much of any producing animals, and I can only think of 2 or 3.
Yeah. Yeah, because all the farmland is being
Chopped up for house lots.
sold up for house lot. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
And instead of building on 1/4 acre lots, you can afford to put an inexpensive house up. We got 2 or 3 acre lots.
Sure. That's exactly what's happening. Yep.
Kathy, you're still there? Hey, how's Rich doing? Tell him I said hi. Rich only comments when Kathy's on.
Oh, he does, huh?
Yeah, no, he doesn't comment when it's just us. No.
Us, huh?
Only if Kathy's on.
One way.
Just about all the news outlets are for entertainment purposes at this point. I agree. Can't take any of them seriously. I agree. I watch them all and do my best to filter the facts and form my own opinions.
Good for her.
Yeah. So about that, I'm when it comes to really, high, commercial news, personally, I don't watch it. I don't watch CNN. I don't watch Fox News. I don't watch CNBC. I really honestly don't. Because honestly, it just depresses me.
Yeah,
because what they're doing, they're trying to emote you. They're trying to get you to have some sort of feeling about something or which way, they're going to move you. Honestly, the places I get my news and some people are going to go, oh, and some people are going to go, what? There are 2 sources that I go personally that I find is straight down the middle. Number one is in Connecticut. Go to a website, it's Connecticut News Junkie. There's a lot of Hartford stuff there, but it's just reporting straight down the middle. That's one.
No editorial.
No, just
that's the problem.
Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts.
That's the problem.
No opinions, right? There's too many opinionated news stories out there.
If you want to have an opinion, call it an editorial right up above it so that it's their opinion.
Right. I'm not a fan of the Norwich Bulletin, but I'll be honest with you, John Penny writes pretty much right down the line. Good. So I do enjoy. I don't think I've ever told him that too. We've talked maybe once or twice in this life, but he's straight down the line. So this is not an advertisement for the Norwich Bulletin. It's just how it is. Mm-hmm. And then as far as local, or say national or world news, here's the shocker. I've told you this before, Jim. I probably have told you.
See if it's the same one I'm thinking.
Well, Reuters. That's the first one, and the other one is Al Jazeera.
Yeah, Al Jazeera is probably. I don't, Mike. I can't recall the last time I picked up the remote and turned the TV on.
Right.
The goddamn TV, if it never existed, I think would be a good thing.
Yeah. But those are the 2 that I will rely on. Al Jazeera, who is in Denver, by the way, they have won like news organization of the year multiple times. Mm-hmm. You don't do that by forming. When's the last time CNN won
that? Why would they ever have won it?
I'm just saying. It's all entertainment. It really is. I mean, Kathy, I agree with you 100%. Shayna says, I like the news. It's the illest. Like just the news of many that embellish everything. That's part of the problem because it's become entertainment.
Yeah, I don't really watch the news either because it becomes very upsetting.
Shayna goes, Al Jazeera's in Denver. Laughing face emoji.
Yeah.
News outlets have been marketing platforms for political parties. Yeah. News, i.e. facts without bias, is not what's reported anymore.
Well, wasn't it Dan Blather? I mean, rather that got caught in that. Wasn't it the Pinto fires or something?
He got caught in some kind of lie or something. He did, yeah.
Well, I think he lied. I think part of his job was to lie. John Cameron Swayze
for Timex.
Is that who?
Yes.
I mean, I thought that's a long time ago, but I thought he reported fairly.
Keeps on ticking.
Yeah, John Cameron Swayze was the Timex. Takes a licking and keeps on ticking.
Yeah.
How about Walter Winchell?
I don't remember him.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the name. I don't know if
he was
You're a lot older than I am, Paul.
So Tim says this, and I don't agree with him. It says, sorry, but Fox News is the only news outlet down here on the southwest border other than Telemundo. Sábado Gigante. So basically we're saying it's Fox
Spanish.
News or the Spanish channel. You can get the ones I mentioned anywhere. You don't need, that's the problem. You don't need to get news your TV. They're selling sponsors. There's a reason for that. Facebook, Cortland Candy user. Griswold has only 3 to 4 farms still raising livestock. There are others dealing in just crops.
Yep.
Farming used to be for subsistence, otherwise substance of your family until the Industrial Revolution happened and things shifted to mass production.
Sure.
Now we all work to buy products and food, etc.
Yeah.
Court, quick question. Is it worth farming anymore locally?
Good question.
You gotta love it.
Yeah, it's not an easy job, that's for sure.
I'm not degrading anything you do, but is it worth it?
I applaud the farmers. I mean, Cortland and I have talked many times. We don't grow enough food in the Northeast to take and feed the population up here. And if you have a massive railroad strike,
it all comes from down south.
What's that?
It all comes from down south.
Out of the country. Look at how much
country.
food is coming from Mexico, Indonesia, China.
That's why you got to look when you're buying stuff, especially anything fresh. Where's it coming from?
Victoria says, I like that White House chick, Jean Pierre. It's my daily comic relief. Amazing how things can be spun.
Oh,
it's true. See now, all right, Daryl, here's something I don't agree with. I don't agree with a lot of crap today.
That's okay.
Maybe we should have a centralized news organization that is overseen by the government.
Oh,
government.
Oh, God.
Where are you coming from?
Oh, wait. I should have read the rest of it. And it said, so we can all be sure that it is true. In parentheses, this is a joke.
Oh, okay.
All right. You recovered, Daryl.
Oh, you got me, Daryl. You got me.
I don't think anybody trusts the government at all. I mean, there's few people around.
The conversation we're having now, I should have brought that book in this morning that I've been reading. It's another conspiracy.
Court says that if when it comes to food,
Jim's on the phone.
This personal phone call is brought to you by Jim Barney. Court says about doing stuff locally, for food, find the right niche.
Yep.
So, and I think that's probably true of any business or anything that you do, including entertainment.
Yep.
Now we do our hunting at Stop and Shop in Walmart. It's not wrong.
Yeah.
She goes, Shana just says, I just wanted to share that.
Yeah.
It's not wrong.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. What's Jim's accessing?
He needs a pen.
Oh. You have paper right here. Oh.
Yeah.
You can go use my office, Jim, if you need.
Oh, well.
It was Jim.
That was Jim. Yeah.
So, anyway. One thing about this show is that we go back and forth on a bunch of different things, but actually, the show is really driven by the people that are in the chat room and the people that are participating. So
started off with people dying.
Yeah. Let's see what there are a bunch of different holidays today that.
Well, just to keep in mind that 1 week from today, we'll have a whole lot to talk about.
Oh, that's right, because elections are coming up Tuesday,
over.
1 week from today.
Yeah, be interesting to see what changes and what happens.
So here are the holidays that you should be celebrating that you didn't know that existed in the first place. So we already talked about All Souls Day or Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead.
That is today.
Yep.
Today is Broadcast Traffic Professionals Day.
We don't have a broadcast trafficker, don't we? We used to have.
No, I mean some of the larger markets have. Yeah, we don't have the SNSN helicopter.
No, that's already gone.
That's gone.
Crashed and burned.
It's Cookie Monster Day.
Oh,
Cookie. C is for Cookie. Cookie is for me.
Surprising it's November. Okay, go ahead.
Dynamic Harmlessness Day.
I don't know where that came from.
Dynamic Harmlessness Day, and it's always observed on November 2nd, and there is no information about that. Yeah. Let's see. Let's scroll back. It's a National Deviled Egg Day. That is something I can really celebrate. I love deviled eggs.
Yeah, they usually come out around. They're part of the Thanksgiving celebration. Deviled eggs.
It is Eat Smart Day.
Eat smart. Every day should be eat smart.
It's observed the first Wednesday every November.
I didn't know that.
It's International Stress Awareness Day. And here's an interesting one, and I don't really know what it means, but it's Look for Circles Day. It's a holiday geared towards young children who are learning to recognize shapes.
Wow.
Look for Circles Days is looking up, down, and every which way you can in order to identify and point out objects shaped like circles.
That's a racist comment, because where's the squares?
What?
You can't just go with only circles.
It's not racist. How's that racist?
Everything is racist.
Oh, sure. We're all racist.
Should be. Where's the squares? Where's the triangles? Why are they only going with circles? Come on. I wouldn't have read that. That's no.
It's funny. The younger generation these days. It's like, I like strawberry ice cream. That's racist. Because I don't agree with you. It's not relatable. So those are the holidays that are out there today. And is there anything else? Oh, it's Plan Your Epitaph Day.
Right in line with
what? Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead.
Yeah, that's true. What a surprise. And the last one is, ready for this?
Yeah.
It's Practice Being Psychic Day.
Yeah, I think we were a little bit psychic this morning.
There is no information on that.
Yeah.
But practice being psychic. So as always, we have jumped around. We talked about Day of the Dead, and talked about purgatory, and
that's where we started.
Talked about news organizations and the prices of things, and
but
it's crazy. Jim came back just for us quick enough to say goodbye.
What's a mailman's favorite herb?
Mailman's favorite what?
Herb,
Herb.
Herb.
Well, garlic is very healthy for you.
No, I said, what's the favorite postman's?
I don't know.
Parcels. These are dumb jokes.
They're getting worse.
Well, we got to make
Redeem yourself. Redeem yourself.
We need to keep doing this. We need to.
Why?
Because we didn't have these jokes. What people have to talk about.
No comment, Paul.
Speaking of Day of the Dead, what did the
Who
ghost?
was?
What did the ghost eat at his birthday party?
Bones, because everybody's throwing their chicken wings away.
This practical moment brought to you by Jim Barney. What?
Ice cream.
See, now that's better. That's better. That's better. But here's something that really makes sense. And Court says, why aren't deviled eggs on Halloween?
Yeah.
Would make sense, right?
Well, I'm surprised nobody's picked that up either, because now we're referring to the devil.
Wouldn't that be more of a Halloween thing?
Well,
spooky.
I'm just saying now we have devil. Well, why are we calling them devil eggs? Why aren't they just like seasoned eggs or pickled eggs or something like that?
Well, that's a way to preserve them, is to pickle them.
Come on, they are nothing but. Right? Nobody's picked up on that. How come?
I don't know. Time to go. Anyway, thanks, Paul. Thanks for your tremendously good jokes. Thanks for your sense of reality, Jim. You two balance each other out.
Somebody's got to keep it stable.
God. Oh, God. Victoria says, keep stirring, Paul. Keep stirring.
That's right.
Goodness. All right. We're out of here. We got a big weekend as far as sports is concerned. We've got Griswold High School football on Friday. Griswold against Stonington at Stonington. Saturday we have Griswold Youth Football. It's playoff season, and then we have Griswold Youth Football on Sunday. So the juniors play on Saturday and the seniors play on Sunday. So the seniors, exciting team, they're undefeated. And if you at all like high school sports, you should watch these guys, because these are the kids that are going to be playing high school. So it's like the feeder system. So, and it's pretty good.
Didn't the volleyball team girls volleyball team just win something?
Well, they're playing again tonight. So they started the ECC tournament.
I think they won.
They won the first game against NFA. That was Monday. Tonight they play Fitch at Fitch. So, which I asked Steve Cravino why at Fitch, because he said it was a predetermined site. So they play. I don't know that they're actually playing Fitch, but they're playing at Fitch. I don't exactly know who they're playing. So
one of the young ladies was in here last
Coranda.
time I was
Yeah. And they won that night. So they're going to win the ECCs. There's no doubt about that. And they have a really good shot at winning the states. Now you think about it, is Griswold Cross Country has just already won. The state title for cross country. All right. Now there's a good shot that they could win girls volleyball. So it's really pretty good.
That's a huge advertisement for the Griswold school system for anybody that's interested in coming for sports. They go other places for sports.
It's getting better.
Start looking at Griswold.
Yeah, you should. You should. Here's the thing too. Griswold's a smaller school. This is one thing that we don't talk about.
Yeah.
Is Griswold is a smaller school. There's more opportunities to play. So if you're a superstar, you're probably going to have a much easier time finding a spot on a team here at Griswold instead of a much larger school.
Yeah. And the other portion of that is, if you're in a much larger school, there's more potential qualified athletes that you're going to be competing against.
Yeah.
Just on the population numbers.
Yeah.
Polino, hey Dave, says much respect for the Fitch girls volleyball team. They all volunteered for our Special Olympics of Connecticut volleyball tournament along with their coach. Too bad they're going to lose tonight. Go Wolverines! All right, we're out of here. Have a good day, everyone. We'll see you once again tomorrow. Don't forget, it's 80s all day and all night. as now SNSN turns into We Love the 80s. And we hope you have a wonderful day. And even you, Paul.
Okay.
All right. See you tomorrow.
The signs everywhere. No alcohol if under 21. No tobacco under 21. No vaping supplies under 21. It's 21 for a reason.
Youth that use alcohol are more likely to engage in other risky behaviors, such as gambling. Learn the warning signs and how to talk to your children about addiction.
It's 21 for a reason. Brought to you by CIRAC and funded in partnership with SAMHSA. Find out more at CIRACCT.org.
As our state senator, Heather Summers is delivering results for Eastern Connecticut and challenging the status quo in Hartford. Fighting for our families, Heather Summers worked across party lines to pass a $600 million tax cut, stood with police to keep our communities safe, and defended